All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all the honor and praise and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahushua Ba'Hashem, Rachakwadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect scattered abroad. This is Brother Barbazal here with a lesson, and Lord willing, it's edifying. And this lesson will be entitled, It Shall Come Down Upon Idumea, or Edom is Appointed to Destruction. Right, something along those lines. I'm not quite sure what this will actually be entitled, but it's going to be entitled something along those lines. So I want to start off with Isaiah 34:4, because you got to understand that the Lord has appointed, people that he's chosen, right? Predestinated the people that he's chosen, people that he has created a relationship with, gave them the laws, statutes, and commandments, and the people that is going to reign in the kingdom of heaven. The Lord has also appointed a people to destruction, right? The wicked going into Esau, Edom. All right. This was predestinated as well, right? His seed following down from the serpent, right? Cain, from Esau to the Edomites. All right. And we gonna read that. So this is the book of Isaiah 34:4. It says, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. Now this is going into thermonuclear destruction, going into the mushroom cloud. And all their hosts shall fall down, and as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a fallen fig from the fig tree. Yeah, because Esau, Edom, right, and these other nations are going to try to come up against Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua, right? Space Force, aircrafts, fighter jets, whatever they can, whatever they have in their arsenal, to come up against Yahushua and the angels. But as you can read, it's going to be of no avail. All right. Verse 5, it says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. All right. So that word for Idumea in the Greek word for Edom is Idumea. All right. And as you could read in the NLT, it actually replaces it with Edom. It says, verse 5, and when my sword has finished its work in the heavens, it will fall upon Edom, the nation I have marked for destruction. So Esau, Edom is marked for destruction, or appointed for destruction. You see? And I actually want to get this word for curse, because that's what it actually goes into. And that's why it's important to go into words. All right. So that word for curse, it says haram. All right, haram. And it says a thing devoted to, a thing dedicated, banned, devotion, have been utterly destroyed, appointed to utter destruction. So that's Esau. That's Esau, Edom, and his seed. They have been appointed to destruction. All right. That's the judgment of Esau, Edom. You can also read about that in Obadiah, going into the judgment of the Edomites, right? After serving that 1,000-year term in slavery and getting their kingdom brought down, right? They eventually will get destroyed, all right? Pretty much out of, existence, all right? But that's after they served a term of slavery for 1,000 years, all right? So I want to get my next precept, which is we can get right here, 2nd Ezra 3:16. And unto him thou gavest Isaac, and unto Isaac also thou gavest Jacob and Esau. As for Jacob, thou didst choose him to thee, and put by Esau, and so Jacob became a great multitude. You see? And what people have to understand is that that the Lord deals with predestination. So Esau, he was never meant to receive the blessing. He was never meant to receive the birthright. All right, that was to be supplanted of him. That's why Jacob, and we understand that Jacob, the name Jacob actually means supplanter. So Jacob supplanted Esau out of his blessing, which was actually righteous. All right, that's what he was supposed to do. According to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua. All right. So that was a righteous thing, right? Rebecca actually coming and aiding Jacob with that. That was actually a righteous act for her to do, you see. And we can actually read about that in Genesis the 27th chapter, but it goes into that. So Esau, he was never created or never fit, to be that chosen seed. He was created to be the wicked. All right. And when you actually read this in the GNT, it says and rejected Esau, because put by, it means rejected. So the Lord rejected Esau. All right. And the Lord has only dealt with Israel. The Lord has only had that relationship with the Israelites. That's why when you read in the New Testament, when it goes into the reconciliation, right, those that have to be brought back to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, that's only going into the Israelites, because Esau or the other nations never had that relationship with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and they weren't meant to. You see, when you read the book of Amos 3:2, it says, you know what? Let's read it. Actually, I'm gonna just bring it out real quick, and we'll go back to the point. Oops. All right, here we go. Amos 3:2. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. So that's why Israel is getting judged as a nation right now. All right. That's why we are at this lowest state, because we went off. All right. We're going through the curses, and that's also part of the prophecy. All right. So we're getting judged as a nation. So the same way that we're getting judged as a nation, eventually Esau is going to get judged as a nation for what he did to our people, and also being created to be the wicked, being the wicked, right? Rape, robbery, and murdering our people, causing our people to go astray from Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, all right, polluting the earth, all the wickedness that he's done, he's going to have to pay for that. You see? And actually, when you get to Isaiah 34 and you go down, it says, there we go. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. None of these shall fail. None shall want her mate. For my mouth that hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. So this is going to happen. Esau's kingdom is going to be brought down, but it's all on the Lord's timing. You see? And we're seeing the other prophecies come to pass. The falling away, right? The Israelite awakening, the wicked being revealed, which we know is Esau, Edom. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Who is in rulership of the earth, of the entire earth, right? The Edomites. Starting with those the banking families, the elites. You see, the small hat, all right, which the small hat is not, Israel. They're actually the Edomites. You see, it wasn't prophesied for the Israelites to dwell in that land during this time. All right, the Lord is going to bring us back to that land. It's not going to be through another nation. It's not going to be through the Balfour Declaration Covenant. All right, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to bring us to that land. Not to mention they'll have plenty of benefits on this side. They're receiving aid from Babylon the Great. So that's how you know that they're not the people. All right. And let's get Proverbs 16:4. The Lord hath made all things for himself, yet even the wicked for the day of evil. You see? So the Lord created Esau just to be destroyed. The Lord created Esau just for him to get that judgment. You see, you can't get around it. All right? The same way the Lord created the Israelites to be, heirs, to the throne, or joint heirs to the throne, reigning with Yahushua. You see? But I'm going to get, Oh, let's get verse 5. Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished. So the amount of iniquity, wickedness, right, sin that Esau has done, he not going to get away with that. You see? Now, on the flip side, right, we have those that was created to be blessed, created to be kings, priests, princes, right, going into the nation of Israel. So I want to get Isaiah 41:8. But thou, Israel, art my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend. And when it says the seed of Abraham, that's going to a specific seed of Abraham, because Ishmael, right, he didn't get that the blessing that Isaac did. You know, Ishmael wasn't chosen. The Lord chose Isaac, and the scriptures say that in Isaac thou shall thy seed be called. All right, and out of Isaac, you know, Isaac, he born two sons, or begotten two sons, right, going into Jacob and Esau, and Jacob was chosen out of those two sons. Jacob chosen to be the righteous, and Esau chosen to be the wicked. You see? So let's get Romans 9:4, and I'm going to close it out. Romans 9:3, for I could wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law, and the servants of the Most High and the promises. You see, this wasn't given unto Esau. This wasn't given unto Japheth. This wasn't given unto Ammon, right? This wasn't given unto any other nation besides the Israelites, whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Hamashiach came, who is over all, the Most High blessed forever. Amen. You see? So the Lord has chosen the Israelites to receive those things. And the Lord has created Esau, Edom, to be destroyed for that destruction. All right, and there's no way to get around it. And it's not something that's already happened. Esau isn't done away with. It's not like there's no more Edomites walking around. All right, that is a prophecy that has yet to happen, and it's going to happen soon. So with that, I'd like to give all the honor and praise and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah by Hashem, Rach HaKodash. Shalom.